It's funny. We plan everything, right? Our careers, our vacations, heck, even what we're having for dinner. But what about the biggest part of all, the final chapter? Today, we're going to dive into that, drawing on some really powerful ideas from a lecturer named Hugh Dewey He about how to write a truly happy ending for yourself.
So let me ask you something. When you think about getting older, what are the first challenges that pop into your head? For most of us, it's probably things like health or maybe money, right? Well, what if I told you the biggest, most unexpected challenge is something else entirely, something we rarely even talk about?
Wow. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. This chart just flips everything we think we know on its head. You'd assume the highest rate of lonely deaths would be among folks in their 70s or 80s, but no. Look at that. It's men in their 50s. And it's often this perfect storm. Sudden retirement hits, they lose their social network from work, and sometimes things at home fall apart. It's a huge, silent crisis.
So that's what we're facing, an unexpected reality. We're going to look at these stark facts about modern loneliness head on.
Now look, the point of showing you that statistic isn't to scare you. Not at all. It's about seeing the story that's being written out there so that we can grab the pen and write a completely different one for ourselves. And to help us do that, let's turn to our guide, lecturer Hyo Joo-hee. She tells this story about going to the gorgeous Jeju Island, a place famous for healing. But instead of finding peace, she was hit with this wave of deep, profound loneliness and depression.
And right there, in that low moment, something happened. A storm passed, and she saw a rainbow stretch across the sea. And in that one simple, beautiful moment, she made a promise to herself that literally changed her life. She said, this life must end as a comedy. Think about that. Not a tragedy, a comedy.
That moment, that rainbow, it became this incredible metaphor for her. It's the rainbow after the rain. It shows us how just a simple shift in perspective can change, well, everything. So what she did in that moment was take back control of her story, of her own narrative. And it actually reminds me of this brilliant idea from Charlie Chaplin. He once said, life is a tragedy when seen in close-up, but a comedy in long shot. Okay, that sounds profound, but what does it really mean for our day-to-day lives?
Let's break that down. Think of it like this. On one side, you have the close-up. That's when you're zoomed in on the daily grind, right? The bills, the bad days, the little misfortunes. And from that angle, yeah, life can feel pretty tragic. But then you zoom out. You take the long shot. You see the whole arc of your life, the ups, the downs, the lessons, the laughter. Suddenly, it's not a tragedy anymore. It's a story of survival, of growth. It becomes a comedy.
And that's the goal, right? To see life as a comedy in the long shot, to adopt that philosophy for a happier life. But here's the key. It's a conscious choice. It doesn't just happen. So how do we actually do it? How do we put this into practice?
Well, Hyo Joo-hee gives us a really practical toolkit to start with. The first part she calls the 3-piece set for the mind. It's simple: reading, writing, and transcribing. Now, these aren't just things to do to pass the time. No, these are powerful exercises for your brain. They keep you sharp, they keep you engaged, and research even shows they can help fight off things like dementia.
But keeping your mind sharp is only one piece of the puzzle. It's part of a bigger picture. Think of a truly fulfilling life resting on 3 pillars. You got the intellectual activity we just talked about. Then, of course, there's physical activity. You got to keep your body moving. And the third one, which I think we often forget, is artistic pursuits. That's the stuff that feeds your soul.
So there you have it, a toolkit for a happy ending. These are real, practical steps you can take to build a truly meaningful second act. Theory's great, but let's see how this all comes together in a real-life, incredibly powerful story.
Meet Grandma Emma. She lived a full, busy life, raising 5 daughters and running a household. Then, one day, she gets the diagnosis. You have 1 year left. Now, she could have fallen into despair, right? But she didn't. Instead, she started to prepare. She sat down and began writing her family's history, determined to leave behind a record of their love. When the time came, her final words were, "Think of my death as just a small journey." She passed away peacefully, holding a rose from her garden. See what she did? She didn't just let her ending happen to her. She wrote it. She authored it.
Grandma Emma's story is the perfect lead-in to this really powerful idea, something called a living funeral. In Korean, it's Sangjen Ibyolsik. The idea is that you plan a gathering before you pass away to share memories, to say your goodbyes, and to celebrate your life with the people you love while you're still there to see it. I mean, talk about the ultimate act of taking control of your own story.
And that's really what all of this is about, rewriting the final chapter. It's about how to consciously prepare for an ending that's absolutely filled with love and connection. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. This isn't some morbid, depressing exercise. Not at all. It's about actively, consciously preparing for an ending that's brimming with meaning. And Hyo Joo-hee just nails the reason why this is so important. She says the goal isn't just about making your ending better. It's about living your life in a way that your children, your loved ones, will truly love and miss you.
So, your life is your story. You get to write it, from the very first page to the very last. The final chapter is going to be written. There's no question about that. The only question is, who's holding the pen? What's the very first line you'll write for your final chapter?